If you're a service-based business and you want to increase your bookings, then you're listening to the right show. I'm going to be talking with a woman who has mastered a booking strategy, and she's going to tell us how it's done so we can increase our bookings with confidence. Today, I'm talking with Leah Fortune, owner of Gratitude Skincare Studio, and getting all of her advice when it comes to rebooking clients on the spot, what to do if you haven't even booked your first client yet, referral incentives, how she follows up to rebook her past clients, and how she uses social media and email and so much more. So, I myself have lots of experience working in the service based business, relying on bookings. And I love when I see other business owners being confident and rocking their booking systems. So, after I met Leah, I 100% knew that she was someone that I would want on this show. Oh, and don't forget to listen to the very end of today's episode to get my tip of the week. Will help you get over that nervous feeling of asking for the booking and someone saying no. All right, ready? Let's jump in. You're listening to the Ashley Avis podcast, the place to be for entrepreneurs who want to market and sell with confidence. Around here, we're chatting about personal branding, social media strategy, web design, email marketing, sales mastery, and so much more. My biggest mission is to help you effectively sell online with confidence and clarity. Ready to grow your business, bank account, and an online presence in a way that leaves you feeling liberated and excited? Subscribe and tune in every Tuesday with an open mind and a notepad. Let's do this.
As a thank you for listening to today's show, I made you something. It's a short video I recorded myself that will help you show up on your next Instagram story, reel, or live. With pushing post will get you that much closer to today's business goals. It's called the Video with Confidence Crash Course, and it's available for free right now by heading to ashley.avismarketing.com/crash course. In it, I include the secret that all the great video creators have, the exact 4 steps to keep them strategic, and a little pep talk for those who are still hung up on pushing publish. Grab this free training at ashley.avismarketing.com/crash course and get ready to hit record and nail your next Instagram video. So, hey, Leah, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ashley. Thanks for having me.
I'm really happy that you agreed to speak today because I feel like you have so much to offer, like anybody listening, especially when it comes to service-based businesses and increasing their overall bookings. So I'm really pumped to be talking to you today, and I specifically want to thank you so much for allowing all of us to pick your brain about to be talking to you today. And I specifically want to thank you so much for allowing all of us to pick your brain about these topics.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really excited to talk to you today and talk about all things service based and appointment bookings.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, before I get into all of these questions that I have for you, I want to first have you tell everyone about what you do, who you do it for, and how your whole business started before we dive into all of your business secrets about how we can increase our bookings.
Okay. Well, my name is Leah Fortune. I am a 13-year licensed esthetician and skincare therapist and owner of Gratitude Skincare Studio here in Niagara. I work with anybody who wants glowing skin. I'm passionate about customized facials and really making skincare and self. How I started my business was I worked for larger spas for many, many years, and I knew going out of school that I really wanted to have my own business. I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, and allowing me to, or having me work at larger spas for a few years really allowed me to see what I could do on my own and make it more of my own. And that's where I was excited to kind of jump off and start my own thing.
Cool. Now, is it true that you've always wanted to be an entrepreneur? I mean, I think you told me once that you used to sell golf balls.
Yes. So I actually went on a bike ride yesterday and drove past where I used to live in Lincoln. And yeah, I used to walk along the ditches and pick up golf balls, clean them, and put them in egg cartons and sit at the side of the road. Clean them and put them in egg cartons and sit at the side of the road in a little wagon where the golfers would cross the road, and it was called Leah's Previously Enjoyed Golf Balls, and it was awesome. And I knew that like the Nike ones were going to be $1 and all the other ones were going to be 50 cents.
Oh my gosh, that is cute. And how old were you when you did that?
I think I started and I was 10, and I did that for 3 years.
Cool. Okay, so tell us about your business now. Like, what is it called? How did you first start the business? Like, when
Yeah.
did you take the leap?
So it's called Gratitude Skincare Studio, and I knew that, like I was touching base on earlier, that I knew that I could do better. And what that meant is that the services that I was offering at the larger spas, they were good services, but they were like cookie cutter and customizing facial treatments for people and being able to see them back and month after month and watch the results and change their routine. And I just really made the jumping point where I went to work kind of part-time at the spa where I was working at. And then I literally contacted a friend who had a room for rent in a hair studio. It was very small, and I just did it, and it just took off, and the momentum propelled me forward to then expand during the pandemic and have a larger studio. And yeah, it's going really well, pandemic or not.
Wow. So when did Gratitude Skincare like officially open?
I would like moving into my new location, or when I would say that there's been different hybrid versions because I
Oh,
also attempted to do this out of my home at the time. And but I would say that I've been trying to start my spa in some capacity for over 10 years, but I would say I've been in business officially for 6 years.
wow.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're surviving during the pandemic. If you're listening now and the pandemic is over, celebrate a little
Woohoo!
bit because we're still in lockdown as we record this right now. But tell me a little bit about what you've been doing while you've been closed.
Yeah. So, like most business, we've all had to pivot. And I never thought I would hate a word so much, but here we are. We're pivoting. But you know what? It really has shown the true entrepreneurial spirit to be able to be like, all right, I'm not going to sink. I'm going to swim, and I'm going to get creative. So I have been doing, you know what? It really has shown the true entrepreneurial spirit to be able to be like, all right, I'm not going to sink. I'm going to swim, and I'm going to get creative. So I have been doing virtual facial consults where we meet on Zoom and we talk about like Ashley, if you and I were to do one, I would do a video call and we would talk about like your lifestyle. I would be able to see your skin without any makeup on, in good lighting, and I would design a home care routine for you. I also do virtual facials as well. So like facial in a box where clients can meet with me online and I guide them through the facial as well. So still being able to serve my customers with
Wow.
and clients with skincare options because the need is still there, pandemic or not. And just getting creative, making different like kits and stuff like that is really what has kept me afloat and it allowed me to still stay connected to my clients. I think
And
so too.
I think you are. And I think we should just go back a little bit to tell the story about how we met because we haven't told anyone the story yet.
Yeah. How we met, I remember seeing you on Instagram. I think I was looking for yoga, like to practice yoga. And I remember seeing your pictures and all your like posts and being like, oh, she looks really like nice and like looks like she's like a nice person and just like I don't know. I felt like you just like knew what you were doing on Instagram even before like you officially had like your Instagram marketing business that you do now. But it was just I just felt compelled to reach out to you because I felt like I kind of knew you. So I remember I reached out to you and said, "Hey, I was trying to expand my business, and I was like, hey, like Ashley, my name is Leah Fortune. I introduced myself. I'd really like to offer you a facial in hopes that you would fall in love with it so much that you tell others about me, blah 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 blah, if you felt inclined to do so." And I remember I was really nervous to do that because I didn't know you, but I felt like I knew you. And then, long story short, I remember we saw each other outside of the gym and I was like, "Hey," and you're like, "I know you." And then it just kind of, we scheduled it and it's been history ever
Right.
since.
I think that's funny you say you were nervous to send that message. Hopefully, we can talk more about that type of outreach on Instagram a little bit later. But
Yeah.
you sent me that message, and I was like, oh, look, someone's like actually asking me if I want to get a facial. I've never had one before.
Mm-hmm.
I was nervous. I was like, I think I want one, but I don't know. So we did a little bit of back and forth, and I think I actually told you, like, I don't know, I've never had one before. And we had been
Mm-hmm.
following each. I think I want one, but I don't know. So we did a little bit of back and forth, and I think I actually told you, like, I don't know, I've never had one before. And we had been
Mm-hmm.
following each other for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
just not that long. But I kind of already sensed that I kind of knew who you were too,
Yeah.
because. Like you could see, I was just yoga teacher back then, so you could see kind of what I was about. But as I kept following you, even after those messages went forth, and there was a big period of time, I would say like at least a couple months between you sending that message and me actually coming in to get a
Yeah.
facial.
Yep.
But um, your content is so genuine and it's got so much personality in it that I felt like when we were walking, listeners, please listen to this. If this has ever happened to you, let me know. But we were walking down the sidewalk just in front of the gym, and I think I had my daughter with me,
Yeah.
and we literally like were walking past each other, and that's the first words I ever said to her in person. Good you are at communicating like who you are and what you're all about on Instagram. So
Oh,
if you aren't listeners, if you are not following Leah yet on Instagram, please do that because she's a great example of how to like stand out and be yourself. And obviously it's working. It's working for you because when we first met on the sidewalk, I'm pretty sure I booked in. I was like, okay, no, I need to book in with her. I've never had a facial before, but she's like a real human being. I can tell she's not going to judge me or my skin, and it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. It's going to be
yeah.
fine.
I
And I
promise
went
I
in.
wasn't a robot. I was real and
Hmm.
excited that you finally came in.
Yeah, and I am too. And like my skin has been slowly changing ever since, and for the better.
Yeah.
So that's how we met. And I really do think that you do a great job with presenting yourself online and standing out in the beauty industry, especially on Instagram.
Thank
Instagram,
thank
can you speak to that a little bit? Like, were you always so comfortable being yourself on social media?
I would say at first no, but more the out pay, if that is even a proper way to say it, is that I was like, I need to get myself out there in a way that feels like it's still me. I didn't want to be somebody that I wasn't because I feel like that would be a lot of work. So, and I knew I wanted to make people feel comfortable. And I think, like with anything, Ashley, like the more you do something, the more comfortable you feel. And it's like really, years later, it's, the nerves are still there for some things like doing lives, but as far as just putting it out there and just being genuine, it just gets easier because it feels more natural. Like, perfect
Mhm.
example, doing this podcast, it's easier because it feels more natural. Like, perfect
Mhm.
example, doing this podcast, I was a little nervous when we started, and now I'm like, okay, that's cool. So you just slowly, you just do it. If like, a Nike campaign right now, you just literally just do it, and with some type of guided strategy, of course. But it does get easier, like with anything.
I love that you said, I didn't want to be somebody else because I feel like that would have been a lot of work. Like,
Yeah.
if Instagram or putting yourself out there on social media is feeling like a ton of work, take it from Leah. Like, it's if you're just being yourself, it should feel a little bit easier. right? So, what would you say is the first thing or first things that we should focus on when we want to increase our bookings?
When a client comes in to see you for a service, they've already shown interest because they've shown up for the service, and they want to. There's an interest there, right? Like they will say for skin, they want to achieve results. They value their self care, so you're really making it easier for them and setting them up for success as well as yourself by inviting them to come back. So pre-booking, and this isn't anything new. It's just really a system that you have to be consistent with. It really does, fill up your books because your client care is there. You're like, hey, you loved this facial. You want to work on, skin condition X, Y, and Z. Here's your home care products. I'd like to see you back in about 4 to 6 weeks. What time works for you? And most of the time, they're going to pre-book in because they've loved the experience and they are interested in getting results. So time they're going to pre-book in because they've loved the experience and they are interested in getting results. So really asking them to come back or inviting them to come back is, I would say, number one. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is making sure you have a really good, solid rebooking strategy and the confidence to ask people to rebook with you right after you've delivered the service, right? Is
Totally.
okay, so that's like focusing more on the current customers than worrying about getting new ones.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both too. I find, you can, if you're starting from scratch and you don't have any clients, building the clients is still something that you can do. And how you can do that is through Instagram. If somebody's asking questions, you make a post, DMs about certain products. You're at that point, you can invite them in and start a conversation. Oh, have you ever had a facial before? And lead them to book with you. So you don't even have to know them at first. You can just be direct and make it easy for them. Don't leave people hanging too. Sometimes someone would, if someone messages you and says, hey, like, I have a lot of acne, what can I do? And if you just say, oh, you should just, buy this cleanser and leave it at that, it's you're providing more of a solution, and again, setting them up for success and setting yourself up for success by leading the conversation to an actual booking, because they've already expressed interest and you're just essentially helping them. It's customer service.
Love it. And I feel like, okay, so we're addressing two different things here because I still have questions about your booking strategy, and now you're talking about booking in new people. So I love the directions that we're going. Just to go back to your rebooking strategy first, because I feel
Mhm.
like you're so good at this. Like you can rebook people with so much confidence, and I assume that comes from experience, and that you probably didn't feel super confident the very first time you did that,
No.
right? But for actionable advice, what I love about your rebooking strategy is you're asking people to rebook right after you've delivered the service, right? Right
Yeah.
after you've got their skin glowing, they're feeling relaxed, they're feeling good. You got them in that right frame of mind. Like,
Hmm.
you love these results, right? Now is when I should be booking you in for your next one. Right now. So, for example, when I taught yoga, the best time to rebook people in for their next yoga class was right after the end of their class, right?
Yeah.
Yoga class was right after the end of their class, right?
Yeah.
Not after they've gone home and gone back to reality where the to-do list is there and the stress is there. It's like right when you feel that moment of bliss, that is going to be the emotion that's going to get you to come back. So,
Totally.
if you're listening right now and you've got maybe a personal training business or hair or whatever type of booking, it's probably right after you've completed the service.
Mhm.
That's probably the best opportunity. And you might be feeling like, oh, the opposite. Like, I just took their money. How can I ask them to come back in? Like, I don't want to be greedy or aggressive. But if you do it in a caring way, and the second thing that I want to
Totally.
point out that you did was you never asked them a yes or no question. Like, do you want to come back again? It was, I want to see you in 4 weeks' time. What day works best for you?
Yeah,
Right?
totally, and that's kind of like being assertive, but just also, but it's really just making it easy because in the truth, it's is that for skin results and facial results that there is if you come back in 3 months, yeah, you're going to get some results and stuff, but if you're really dedicated, and you want this result that we talked about prior, then this is what I would recommend, and this is what we should do. And it's really, I find the ease of it, and not no room for error, just and that, like you said, we touched based on that, it didn't feel um, great at first. I remember feeling nervous, but then the more people want to come back, like you're really just, I was like, you're just inviting them back. And if you are confident with something, they in turn are going to perceive that confidence as such and want more of it. So
Yes.
just do it. Perceive that confidence as such and want more of it. So
Yes.
just do it. If they say
Yes.
no, they say no. They're gonna message you later and come back anyways. So, but just
Yeah.
get them there because your books are filled up, and it's a system that works.
Totally. And when I rebook, because obviously I have kept rebooking with you,
Yeah.
and I love your rebooking strategy as a client. I've never once felt pressured. And I
Hmm.
feel like you come at it from a very caring and like an educate, like you're an expert. You've got this education, you've got all this years of experience. You know when I need to come back if I really want to have these results.
Yeah.
So you're prescribing people like
Totally.
I'm
Yeah.
prescribing based on what your skin type is and what results you want. I recommend you come back in 4 to 6 weeks if you want to keep these results. And then you're putting it on me like, well, do I want to keep these results? Yes. I better book back in one of your clients that you are getting busier. And
Hmm.
if I want to have my appointment based on when I'm available, I'm going to book in advance. So that's another thing that you guys are really good at there. Because it's not just you anymore. Now you've got Ashley on your team too.
Yeah.
You're both really good at um, communicating like we are getting busier, so I want to ensure you get in at a time that's good for you.
Yes.
And that's like that, like icing on the cake. Like, yes, 100% I'm booking now because Friday afternoons are only when I'm available to come in for this.
Yep.
And if I want a Friday afternoon, then I'm booking in advance, which
Exactly. It just avoids like that disappointment of or that rush of being like, oh no, I can't. Sorry. Like, can you do this day? It's I keep saying this, but like it's like setting yourself up for success in the way
mhm,
that the client is just, they feel good because they've made themselves a priority yet again, and people are less, client is just, they feel good because they've made themselves a priority yet again, and people are less likely to cancel a spa service because they're like, like I'm so excited that's happening. Um, and it really like sends a message to themselves that they are worth it, and then they're like, yes, I'm going to keep this momentum, I'm going to do this. And then in turn it works for you too because your books are filling up and you're not having to stress out about fitting people in, and you're still as you do get busier, it's nice. It's really just again about serving
mhm.
your client.
I love that. So then let's go back to the advice you would give to a fellow business owner, service based business owner who hasn't even gotten their first booking yet. And you're
Hmm.
talking about starting the conversations on Instagram with confidence and leading them towards a booking. What are some other things that you've done outside of sort of get those first few bookings?
A lot too in the service based industry, and even now more than ever, is word of mouth. really being confident to carry business cards on you. So when things we'll say when things open up again, I will generally carry business cards with me. And I hang out at Starbucks quite often, quite addicted to coffee, won't stop ever. And I noticed your little Instagram story. You were drinking coffee, talking about your podcast. I was like, saw the Starbucks. But anyway, so I would hang out there and, do my work and whatnot. And I would make conversations with people that felt genuine. Like if I saw a lady come in and I'm like, she looks like somebody I want in my studio. Like she looks like she really values herself, and she just looks very pleasant. And say she's sitting next to me, I might strike up a conversation, or touch base on something that she had said. Or if I'm wearing my uniform, someone would ask me, and then I would just basically confidently introduce myself, and and they would usually say, "Oh, do you have a business card?" "Yes, I do." And then I would give them the business card, or I might add them on Instagram right then and there. It's kind of almost
Yeah.
like dating or like meeting somebody, but I only would do that for people that I feel comfortable with. At first, like I'm not just like going up to random people all the time, but just always having the business cards with you, on you all the time, making that a huge priority. Just to, and not, and having, I would say this, planning out what you're going to say when someone says,
Yes.
"Oh, what do you do?" Or where, I remember before being like, "Oh, well, I do skincare, and I also do nails, but not anymore." But like, I just, my delivery was never like, I'm like, what do I do? So really handing out confidently, like what you do and delivering that. So that,
Yes.
yeah.
Perfecting the elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
And I hope your elevator pitch these days does talk about something about, I give people glowing, amazing skin, or I can scrape off 10 years of skin sun damage from your forehead in 5 minutes. I'm just
Yeah,
laughing.
dermaplaning. Woo woo.
You
Well,
love posting about that.
it's so fun, right? And I like to keep it like short and sweet. I think my bio, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's Leah Fortune, skincare specialist, passionate about providing you results based or customized facials to provide you glowing skin. So when someone
Exactly.
goes on my Instagram, they see, "Oh, okay, cool." Like it's not Leah went to Niagara College, and like more stuff like that's on my website, but just give me the gist, right? So I've kind of used that sometimes when I'm talking to people too.
Good.
Yeah.
So if you're listening right now and you want to get that very first booking, what I'm hearing is have the confidence to carry the business cards, which is, if we can remember what business cards are anymore, carry the business cards, or invite people that you have approached to follow you on Instagram,
Yes.
right? And always be ready to deliver a confident elevator pitch. So it's worthwhile to sit down, take the time, write the few sentences down, so that you're confident in presenting the answer when someone says, "Oh, what do you do?" I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love that. And I want to also talk about, what would you say is the best way to get in touch with past clients that were in? Because a lot of clients are going to leave and they aren't going to rebook. Maybe they don't know their schedule, or they're
Yep.
still iffy. So we all probably, if we've been doing this for a little bit, have a hand in touch with them and turn those into some new bookings.
That is awesome. And that, with the pandemic too, now more than ever, when I open up again, it's going to be, yes, I have my diehards where my bookings are going to fill up, but there's also, like you said, that group of people who you're gently kind of reminding, hey, like, I've been here. And I will say it's important to note too that I've been here this whole time, sending emails and showing up on Instagram. Just, I didn't just disappear. I don't want to disappear and then just be like, "Hey, I'm open again," like give me money. Like I don't want to be like that. I want them to know that I'm still connected to them. So what you were basically answering what you had asked is that, as far as like an email, I'm really getting into sending emails with your help. Thank you. Um, Getting them to just basically, like if they're not on my Instagram, or an email. I'm really getting into sending emails with your help. Thank you. Um, Getting them to just basically like if they're not on my Instagram, or maybe they're not following, or they're not as apt to check social media, I really like that I'm going to show up in their email box. And a lot of the times I'll be like, oh, I forgot about, we'll say Sally. I actually don't have a client named Sally, but we'll say that. And like all of a sudden she shows up in my email that she replied back, and just really reminding them, like being that top of mind awareness that you are still here. And sometimes they pop out of the woodwork, and just always constantly driving that email list in a nice way too, like serving them, like not just inundating them with stuff, but
Reminding us to wash our face.
yes.
I always love that little post. Like, always be marketing, right? Like, even if you're closed,
Mhm.
even if you're swamped, always be marketing. Keep posting on social
Mhm.
media. But what I love that you just said is that you're focusing on your email marketing. So when someone books in for you, you can get their email address, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, would you like to be on my email list? Or can I send you an email about this, or give them an opportunity to opt in? Can I send you, if they leave, say you're a personal trainer and you just showed them a bunch of exercises, and now you want to give them a free guide for nutrition that you have, perhaps send them the link for them to opt in to your email list, get that guide. Who's not going to do that? And now
Right.
they're on your email list. And I love that you're serving your email list, not just asking people to book back in, because if they're not ready to book back in, they're going to unsubscribe, right?
Totally. One thing I do as well, is, let's say, Ashley, you came in for a facial, and you didn't pre-book. I make a note of that in my booking software, and I'll set myself a reminder. So in 5 weeks, I would say reach out to Ashley, to ask to rebook, or just do a gentle reminder, something like that. So I would create
Yes.
these like systems so that it's in my phone and it pops up, and I don't forget about you, because things can happen. Like you could get busy, and all of a sudden you're like, if it's 8 weeks, and then you're like, oh shoot, I really need a facial, and then all of a sudden I can't get you in. So setting up those like systems to reminders on your phone, and what I used to do too to grow my client base as well, is, and I want to get back into this once I open again, is any new client that came for a facial, the next day or the day after, I would reach out to them, thanking them for coming, asking them if they have any questions, how their skin is feeling, giving them an opportunity to uh, basically to voice anything or say anything is great, and just letting them know that, and then maybe ending the message with, perfect, thanks for letting me know, I'm glad you enjoyed your facial, I look forward to seeing you back at this time. So it's also like you're reminding them of their up and coming appointment or your
Oh, I
next
know.
appointment. Yeah.
That is great. And I think you did do a follow-up with me after my
Yeah.
very first facial. Like, how does your skin feel today? It's okay if it's a little bit red. Let me know if it feels like bumpy or anything. And
Yep.
I didn't have any concerns the next day, except I don't even have to wear makeup today. My skin looks
Yeah.
so good. So I love that. I'm really happy that you reminded us all about the importance of following up, whether they did rebook or they haven't rebooked. Having
Mhm.
that reminder in your phone or in your booking software, um, that's just really smart. Is going to rebook. Not everyone is going to say yes to the sale right away.
Yep.
So follow up is definitely very important, and I hope we're all paying attention for that.
Think about like any service based business that you've gone to. It's very rare that you actually will get a text or an email or a phone call with a follow up. So it's a small little gesture that makes a huge difference that not a lot of people are doing. So
Hmm.
it's, yeah,
Does make you feel special and thought of and cared for.
yeah,
Like, why wouldn't I want to rebook with this person? They care about me and my skin or whatever your
totally.
service you're providing, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And you did mention booking software. Did you want to share which booking software you use, or do you have a favorite?
I was using, oh my goodness, I forget the name of it, of course, but I actually switched over to Square. Square booking, because I use Square in my skincare studio, like to collect payments, and it was just easier for inventory. I actually switched over to Square booking, because I use Square in my skincare studio, like to collect payments, and it was just easier for inventory. And I do like it because it, like most booking softwares, it sends out reminder emails, like say no show invoices. I'm not sure in regards. I think I pay like $60 a month or something like that, because I do have an employee as well, and she has her
Mhm.
schedule on there. It's pretty good. I would say I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for letting us know about that. It's probably going to save us a lot of time if we're looking for
Yes.
booking software. So Square. Cool. And then I do have just a few more questions for you. The first one is about referral incentives, because when we first met, I did have a referral incentive going, and I was
Mhm.
curious if you wanted to share about what it was, how you thought of it, and what kind of results you were getting from it.
Get back into. And it's funny, as you get busier, you kind of forget these things. But I love that we're talking about this, and that when I do open again, I kind of want to refresh and do and continue on with that. So if you have a client, say you are a personal trainer, and well, actually I'll speak to myself because that's just easier.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, Ashley came in for a facial, and I really connected with her. I liked her. She, you seem like somebody that values themselves, and that you are going to get regular skincare. And I feel like you're going to talk about your experience. Then I'm going to say, okay, Ashley, here, I would recommend, here is 3 referral cards. And on the back of the referral cards has all my information, and I'm going to write your name on there. So if you want to pass these cards along to anyone who enjoys some skincare TLC, once I receive these 3 cards back, then you get a free facial. So it's an
Ooh.
incentive. Like, someone could be like, "Oh, you're giving away a service." And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I am." Because if Ashley is an amazing client and she's going to refer me more amazing clients just like her, why would I not gift her a free facial? To me, it just made sense. And I wouldn't give these out to every client, just the clients that you want more of. So giving them a free facial to me made perfect sense, because they're referring me 3 people that are going to be just as good as they are. And so yeah, I wouldn't give it to every single client, just the clients that you want more of. And it's a way to reward them for talking about your services and bringing in clients that are just as good as they are.
Perfect. Cool. And did it work out for you? Like, have you gotten a lot of those referral cards back? Have you given a lot of free facials? Perfect. Cool. And did it work out for you? Like, have you gotten a lot of those referral cards back? Have you given a lot of free facials away?
I would say before the pandemic, yes, it has slowed down a little bit, because it just has. I stopped kind of doing it, not for any reason. I was just so busy,
Hmm.
where I'm like, oh wow, like I don't think I can, not that I want to not have any more clients, but it was just something that I fell out of for no particular reason, just probably because I was busy. But it's a great, again, it's a system that works. And I want, when I start opening again, when the pandemic is over, I want to start doing that again. And I really encourage you guys who are listening to really stay consistent, and to do something that makes sense for you, some type of reward system, and sometimes even just like thanking a client. I would do that very often. If someone XYZ to me, like that really meant a lot to
Hmm.
me. Sometimes something like that is just as good. You're just showing that you appreciate them.
Right. And you know what? It's really smart to have a referral system, whether it's something you can be consistent with or something that ebbs and flows with how busy your business is. Like, you could have a
Hmm.
referral month on a slow month, or in a month that's going to be slow, and then let go of that referral incentive for your busiest months when you're not really going to need to focus on it. So I see, like,
Yeah,
feeling it out, the ebbs and flows and the natural flows of your business, right? And plop in your referral system where it's most needed. It kind of
totally.
takes the pressure off too. But then it's really smart to have one in general. Like, that even if you went somewhere and you got this like amazing service, you know you're going to be talking about it for the rest of the day. And
Mm-hmm.
if the service provider knows that I just delivered them an amazing massage or an amazing facial, okay, she's probably going to go and tell people about it. And it's really smart to give that person a way to refer people back and get that referral in their mind when you know they're already going to be talking about it. And with social media, there's so much power. If you purchase a product or you purchase a service and you love it, you're probably going to post about it or make a story about it. And if you can have a referral code, like I'm pretty sure after my first facial, I went on stories without makeup and showed people my skin and said, I
Yeah.
have 3 referral cards from Leah that will save you 10% off your service if you want to get what I just got. And I believe people did trickle in after that one story,
Yeah.
and I tagged you in it, and the word spreads. So we can't even forget about that referral incentive on Instagram. It does not have to be complicated. You simply have cards with my name on them, and I take a picture of the people that wanted it. And it worked out
Totally.
for me, worked out for you, right?
Yeah. That's it's so true, and I like that. If you don't like the idea of having a card, it could just be like you could do like a little virtual thing too, where you just like you would just snap a picture and send it to somebody, like whatever makes sense for you.
100%. Just keep it simple. Just knowing that if you deliver outstanding service, if you under promise and over deliver, and that person is walking out of your business feeling amazing and going to go tell their friends, like incentivize that. Get them to tell their friends and
Yeah,
family about you, because you know you emit confidence, I feel, in all that you do. And you probably comes with the 13 years experience that you have. But can you, for everyone listening, define what confidence means to you?
okay, let me pull up my dictionary. No, I would say that it's how you just like faking it till you make it. That's like an overused phrase, but just knowing that people want and value what you offer, that you have something to say, and that you are a professional, and you can be perceived that way because that's what you are. So just, and again, if you don't know something, learn it. If a client comes in and asks me about an ingredient, I'll be like, if I don't know it, I'm not going to be like, oh yes, that ingredient is great. I will be like, you know what, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to totally look into that for you, and I will get back to you. So just, you know, knowledge is power too, another overused phrase, but just, yeah, I hope that answers that for you.
It does. It's like it sounds like it just starts with believing in your value,
Yeah.
right? And knowing that if you're just authentic and you believe in yourself, it might take,
Yeah.
right? And knowing that if you're just authentic and you believe in yourself, it might take time and you might have to fake it till you make it, which I don't know if I believe in that anymore. I feel like something else is there, but it totally made sense to me.
You could also have like a really cool song on and like practice what you're going to say before you do it, like, and just like when you're driving, just like some
Hmm.
cool power song that I can't think of, and then you get all pumped up and then you're like ready to do it, you know.
Cool, love that. What would your power song be?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't know. I like Barracuda by Heart.
Ooh, yes, I can see you rocking on to that. And maybe even have on your stories on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for giving us all of this information and all of your business secrets. Now, I want to ask one final question. Is there any other things that you want to share on the show for service-based business owners who
Watching, they are. It's really all your little efforts, all your behind the scenes. I would say like 80% of your success from your business comes from what you do, the work you do on or in your bit or behind the scenes in your business than like actually in it, if that makes sense. So just keep going. And don't do like only do the things that you know are working, and be open to learning new things and letting go of the things that don't.
Awesome. I love that. And if you feel like no one's watching you, they are. That could be
They
creepy.
totally are. Big brother is watching you.
Awesome. Thank you. That is great. I like feel inspired just from this. I know that everything that we talked about today is gold. It will help everyone increase their bookings. If they were listening, I hope they took some notes. If not, I'm going to be putting a lot of these tips and all these amazing quotes that you said in the show notes for today's episode, along with all of the ways, a lot of these tips and all these amazing quotes that you said in the show notes for today's episode, along with all of the ways that people can get a hold of you. So did you want to share how people can get a hold of you if they have any questions about bookings, or hey, if they want you to help them get glowing skin?
Yeah, well, you can check out my website at www.gratitudeskincarestudio.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, or you could do both, at Gratitude Skincare Studio. And on Facebook, I'm also Gratitude Aesthetics, but I'm more on Instagram, to be quite honest. But yeah, and if you click the link in my bio on Instagram too, it opens up to book an appointment, and all that stuff is also available on the website too.
Oh, so we can kind of see how it's done and
Yeah,
see how
everyone can slide into my DMs. It's fine.
Love that. So thanks again for saving some time today.
All right,
Very
guys,
welcome.
are you ready for this week's tip of the week? You know that feeling when you're about to ask someone to book with you and you start to mumble your words or sweat a little more and you have the complete urge to run out of the room and scream, I don't want to do this anymore. Well, I've felt it. And a lot of us do feel that fear of asking for someone to book with us. Why? Because we're ultimately afraid of people saying no. So, my tip this week will help you get less no's by not even letting no be an option for people. So, how do we do this? We sort of touched on this a bit in the episode, but I just wanted to make sure that it was a highlight for you today. When asking people if they want to book with you, do not ask them a question that could end with a yes or a no. Instead, you could ask them when. For example, Leah could have asked, would you like to rebook with me? Or would you like to book a facial with me? In which case someone would, and some of us would say no. Instead, what Leah does is she asks, I'd like to see you back in 4 to 6 weeks. Which day works best for you? Which gets our mind thinking of a day of the week that works good for us instead of a yes or a no. So the formula here is recommend or prescribe a service with care, and then ask them which day works best for them. Here's another example. I would love to schedule a marketing consulting call to talk about your upcoming launch in August. I recommend we set up your strategy 3 or 4 weeks in advance, which would mean we would need to book soon. I'm currently booking in on Wednesdays and Fridays, so which day works best for you? Pay attention to how you ask for the booking in the future, and see if multiple choices like this can serve you in the future. Thank you for listening to the Ashley Avis podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe. Even better, tell a friend about my show. You can grab all of today's show notes at ashlyavismarketing.com. Plus, find more ways to simplify, strategize, and show up with confidence when marketing and selling online. Until next Tuesday.